So do you recommend HR as a career to young people?
I do, but you have to love it, right?
What does it mean? Love what?
You have to like people and you have to like fixing problems, because that's what we do. You get a lot of people who, it's like nursing, right? A lot of people study it, go into it, they do it for 2-3 years and they're like, you know what, it's not for me. And then the people that do stick to it, they have a real love for people. And that's what you do for. And it's funny because HR people tell the most inappropriate jokes behind closed doors. There are days where we say we hate people because of all the frustration that we deal with in the workplace. But we do it because we actually do like people and we want to help businesses, we want to help people, we want to see people grow, be successful.
That balance, that win-win between people and between company, in other words, between people and shareholders, really, right, is fascinating, forever fascinating.
Yeah.
Right? You get people, two ends of the spectrum. You've got how do you even, even if you're a socialist or a someone who, apparently there's a company in Spain that's doing really, really well, that is owned by all the employees or something like that, and it's actually doing really well. So it doesn't matter. But what I mean, whether you're a socialist or a communist, the other end of the spectrum, who don't believe in private enterprises, or whether you're a capitalist 100%, extreme capitalist. The concept and the notion of, when I think about bringing a someone, for example, it's an amazing gift to bring a grad who loves to write, give them a job, give them an environment where you're trusting them, you're paying them before they even prove themselves. Even if you're the guy on that end of the spectrum, the communist that hates the concept of private enterprise, they would have to go, wow, that is amazing to do that to a young person, to give them a chance to prove themselves and paying them from day one as they prove it. There's something amazingly beautiful about that. And so, that whole concept of balancing the shareholder value with the interests of the employee is such a diverse and forever changing and interesting topic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's you got to realize that the people do make the company, right? I said earlier that it's my job to maintain the culture, but I can't create it. I have to get the right people into the right role. I have to keep everyone happy. I have to have that growth mindset and get everyone learning and growing in their roles and being happy and productive at work. And when you have happy and productive people, business is always going to be successful, unless you're doing terrible business decisions. But again, you should have the right people in the right roles. That's the other part too.
But when you speak to shareholders, some of them probably don't see it like that. They see it, and when you're acquiring capital, when you're looking for capital as a company, sometimes you don't have that kind of control of how the shareholders see that topic. And some people see it that, it's a privilege for that employee to even have a job and to be getting paid or whatever, They've got a different kind of attitude to that. And that's what I mean. How do you balance the two is just forever an amazing and fascinating topic. The shareholder value, the shareholder interest, and the interests of the employee. And again, I'm supporting your point because at the end of the day, it's like a chicken and egg thing. Yeah. No, you can't have employees without shareholder money.
Yeah.
And you can't have a company or return any investment to the shareholders if you don't have good employees, isn't it?
Correct.
It's fascinating.
But it's also that whole point too, that you will not have a senior HR person listening to this podcast that hasn't made someone redundant as well. So, that's the other thing too is, not everything always goes to plan. And sometimes you do have to have those hard conversations, but it's about doing it respectfully and properly. That is the way to do it as well. I'm going back to that original question of recommending HR 100% because there's multiple parts you can go into. We said at the start, there's all those career paths. You got learning and development, you got org psych, you got generalists, you got industrial relations, you got employee relations.
Org psych, I met someone the other day, they do org psych. Very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and our field's kind of evolving now, and you're getting chief happiness officers and everything else, which is more about the culture and the focus on that. So it really is an expanding field, but it's all going to boil down to is you have to actually have a passion for people as well.
Org psych, it's used also in marketing, not just in HR, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Very interesting.
You're getting a lot of people doing HR and psych at the same time.
Okay, so you do recommend HR as a career for young
100%,
people,
100%.
but they have to give me 2 personality trait or the type of person, whatever the exact word is.
You have to be resilient.
Love people,
and you have to be resilient.
And love people meaning you enjoy talking to people. You
Correct.
enjoy listening to people, listening to problems, that kind of people.
Correct. You want to see people succeed, right? You don't go into this job to make people suffer or not have fun. You go in there to help people grow, and to bring happiness to their life. And Joe, I'm human, right? And there are people that I've worked with that I don't particularly like, but because I'm a HR professional, everyone gets the same level of service. So Joe, even if you and I were not on particularly good terms and you came to me and you had a problem, I would solve it for you because that's my job, right? You have to be able to put that personal side to the side. But you have to be resilient too, because you do take on a lot of other people's angst and issues, because generally what we do is a lot of problem solving. Yep. So, Joe, and you have to remember too, the hard part is you have to be that facilitator of change. And Joe, if your workload was too much and I need to get through, I'm feeling that as a HR person because I'm like, I know Anwar's not having a great time because he's got that stress of his team and his workload on him and things like that. I need to find a result for you as well. You also have people that come to you for like a lot of mental health stuff and things like that as well, that you listen and you give advice, but you kind of take on that the vibe as well, and you need to be able to have that wash off over you.
Got it.
In HR, also with people, you can't make everyone happy. So, Joe, you'll send out a Valentine's Day reminder email to the entire company and you'll get, 3 people saying, thanks for that, it was really good, remember to buy something. And then you have people saying, I don't have anyone to love, like, why would you send an email like that out to the company? It happens all the time in HR.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, people love it or they hate it, and there's no in between. So you need to be able to let that flow over you and just roll with the punches.
It's very interesting, in a sense, a bit of a warning, but a very good warning or explaining what you mean by love people.
Correct.
Or be able to deal with people.
Yeah.
Very interesting practical example of what that is,
Yeah. So when you're young and you get those emails where it's like, first of all, you go like, why would you send that to me? That's a very strange, but as a senior, you're like, well, what's going on there? Do I need to have a chat with them to understand what's happening behind the scenes? Just to get more around what's going on in that space as well. You're going to have to make decisions sometimes, as you know, as a leader in a business too, that some people are going to like and other people aren't going to like. If I've only got, say, 30 headcount to recruit next year in a business that is growing and we technically need 45 or 50, I'm going to have to make decisions over who gets the allocated FTE based on pipeline projects and things like that. So,
what's a typical career path for someone in HR? Is it always vertical growth?
Yeah, correct.
You can't go into other disciplines?
Well, you'll always start off as a HR coordinator. You'll come in and you'll do the low-level operational stuff, the paperwork, the filing, everything like that. Generally, then after that, you become an HR advisor. And that's when you start getting more into the actual mentoring, coaching, giving advice to the business. People run different models off of that. You have either HR advisors go straight up to the manager level, depending on the business, or you go into the business partner side of it as well. Generally, companies that do the business partner model are the ones that have the other career paths in there. So the learning and development, organizational design, even REM is a space. There are people that just do that for a living as well.
Arguably speaking, someone that does really well in HR, a real leader, has got leadership qualities, can become a perfect CEO of a company.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Perfect CIO. Sorry, I beg your pardon. A COO, operation manager.
Correct.
Understanding the operations of a company inside out.
And that's my background before I got into HR. And I got into HR when I was 32. So I was a late bloomer in that space, was operations. And that's why that's helped me being a successful business partner, is because I have that mindset of...
They feed off each other both.
Correct.
Resourcing in the Western world is no question about it the most challenging aspect of growing a business.
Correct.
So for a COO that doesn't have a real knowledge of people and people's skills and how to deal with people, resource different divisions and managers and how to work with managers, they will never succeed anyway.
Correct.
So there's a lot of transferable skills into a GM and COO and CEO roles. And
correct.
Yeah?
Yeah. And it's always hard. The main part of a HR person too is to also learn on the run. So as I said earlier, it's my job to know the gist of what the tech guys do. But I'll quite often sit in an interview and you'll sit there and you do your introduction, you talk about the company and how you see the role working in the structure and everything else. And then they'll start talking technical and you kind of sit there and you do your HR head nod for interviews where they're like talking about SQL versus something else. You're like, but you make a mental note. You're like, I'll Google that later and I'll learn about it. Same goes with learning industries, right? I've been in tech for 4 or 5 years. Before that, I didn't know what a full stack developer was versus back end. You go into an industry or a company and you have to start from scratch. So again, you have to learn on the run as you go as a HR person as well. You learn a lot of things to say and do, and I always say to the ones again that I coach and mentor, the young ones coming into the industry, the best thing you can do is just walk head first into whatever it is, because you learn from your experiences in HR. You may say something that you later regret, and the rest of your career you'll never do that again, but you have to learn it the hard way, unfortunately. And you have to learn how to answer responses and questions as well, because you do, as a HR person, if someone hears something come out of your mouth, for the rest of that, whatever that topic was, the rest of the time it'll be HR said. But I spoke to HR and HR said. So you have to know how to sometimes give a question that allows you to come back later, do some more research, I'll look into that, come back to you by the end of the day. Things like that as well.
So, Peter, thank you very much for a very thoughtful conversation. I personally learned from it. And I really hope that people also that will be watching this interview would learn from it. And if you feel that you've learned from it, please don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you at the next podcast. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.